Welcome back, everybody. This is Grayson Ritchie broadcasting the SirsiDynix team in preparation for their After-Hours League games. We just got out of a previous game, and SirsiDynix sustained a pretty heavy loss here, as you can see, going 16-6-21 blue team, and SirsiDynix 6-16-4. So, generally speaking, they played a very aggressive early game against a team composition that had a better early game than they did. And I feel like if they had been able to push the game into the later stages, they would have been fine, although they did end up surrendering right at the 20-minute mark. So hopefully we can see a better game from them this time around. Let's see, that was episode 4. This will now be episode 5 of the SirsiDynix AfterHours League. They're currently in queue, and this will be the second game after the Season 3 reset. And for some reason, queue times seem to be extremely long right about now. Which doesn't make much sense considering the servers are under high load. Okay, looks like they just got into the game. So we are going to spectate. Alright, so the bands, do we not get to see the bands anymore? Oh, that's unfortunate. Although they may not be playing a band game. No, they're in draft mode. Odd. Okay, well, on the SirsiDynix team, we've got Chatton playing Rengar, jungle, Aaron playing Twitch ADC, Great Slower playing Morgana mid, Jason Jace top, and Kalindi Nunu bot. On the opposing team, the blue team, we are going to see Kennen. I imagine he'll likely go top. Oh shoot, what is her name? Irelia going mid, Caitlyn and Leona going bot, and Cho'Gath doing jungle. Now, with the recent changes to the jungle, this is actually going to be interesting. Cho'Gath is, from what I understand, still effective in the jungle, although not nearly as much as he was. From what I understand, Riot was trying extremely hard to mitigate the advantage that AoE damage champions gain in the jungle. AoE damage from normal attacks and from magic damage as well. So I guess we'll see, although I imagine that Cho'Gath will do just fine. He certainly won't have the advantage that he has in the past. Although, again, I could be wrong there. I guess we'll just have to see in this game. The matchup bottom is going to be very interesting. There is no hard CC for SirsiDynix, whereas on the blue team you have Caitlyn's traps, which are going to be super nasty, locking people in place, but tons of CC is what we're going to see from Leona between her ultimate and her lockdown, her momentary lockdown, and her Q, her stun that comes from her shield. It's like shield, sunburst, something like that. Anyways, going to see a lot of CC coming out of the blue team in bot lane, which hopefully SirsiDynix will have an answer to. The matchup mid, Irelia to Morgana, Morgana certainly has more poke and definitely has the early game advantage, being that she is a ranged champion. Will hopefully be able to zone out Irelia, although it would seem as though she is a very skilled player, and Great Slower is still pretty skilled, although I guess we'll see. He certainly needs to do some work on his skill shots. In the last game, he missed quite a few critical skill shots that could have been game turnarounds. And then in the jungle, I think that Rengar is definitely going to have an advantage, at least early game, over Cho'Gath, although Cho'Gath always gets insanely tanky as the game moves on, so SirsiDynix will definitely have to come up with an answer for super tanky gentleman Cho'Gath. And it would seem as though blue team also has the skin advantage, if you believe in that sort of thing. And then top lane, Kennen has an enormous amount of poke, operating off of energy, and his Q actually does huge amounts of damage early in the game, when Kalindi just isn't going to have the type of magic resist as he's going to have later in the game. So I think that, or I meant Jason, sorry. So I think that we're going to see a lot of defensive play from Jason, at least early. Okay, let's line these lines up down here. Cho'Gath there. Morgana there. Nunu here. Okay. So let's see who starts off with the blue. Started off with the gold advantage this game, although purple is going to quickly catch up, and both teams playing fairly defensively in their own jungle. SirsiDynix putting heavy defense on that red buff, and blue team heavily watching their own blue buff. Although it seems as though we have a relatively aggressive ward in mid from SirsiDynix, that's definitely going to help them spot where Cho'Gath is in the jungle. It's a very powerful ward position. Oh, and Kalindi taking massive damage, although we might see Caitlyn go down. Indeed we will. Nicely done, Aaron. First blood goes to SirsiDynix. Oh, and we may see a second kill down here on Leona. Leona getting way too aggressive for the amount of damage that SirsiDynix can put out bot lane. And with no support from her 80 carry, she is not in a position to be as aggressive as she's being. Definitely seeing a lot of poke coming out from this Kennen on Great Slower, and Great Slower historically has been a pretty aggro player, so I'm extremely concerned as to how this game is going to turn out for him mid. If he continues to play overly aggressively, Kennen is just going to be able to hit every single skill shot. Leona jumping in on top of Aaron, but Caitlyn not there to capitalize on it. In fact, taking hits on the way back. One expunge could probably do her in at this point. We're going to see Aaron continue to work this early game advantage. He definitely is the better player here, it seems, as far as ADC goes. Still no word from SirsiDynix in that bottom tri-brush, which is a bit disconcerting, even though we are going to see Jason get ganked up top by a double buff. What? Come on, directed camera. Thank you. By a double buff Cho'Gath, although it seems like he's probably going to be able to escape. Cho'Gath gonna dive him underneath the turret, gets that knock up. Is also going to die to the turret, which is extremely unfortunate for him, considering he had built up both buffs and is now going to have to move back into his jungle. I would say that is definitely a failed gank, even though that does give some Irelia some time to farm. Oh, and I lined her up wrong. My bad. Kennen went mid and Irelia went top. Aaron using the invisibility to his advantage, although it didn't seem like he got as much poke on in there as he wanted to. As far as early game CS goes, we have Kennen with the slight advantage in mid, and Aaron with a rather large advantage in bottom. The other lane's relatively close, although Jason does have an advantage in top, and there's a slight advantage in jungle for SirsiDynix as well. Oh, Aaron likely going to go down here if Leona can get that next stun on him, although he does go invisible, so they're going to switch to Kalindi. Are they going to dive Kalindi underneath the turret? Oh, Aaron coming visible once again, and Cho'Gath able to escape just barely. Greatslar moving in for the gank on their Kennen, although Kennen just is too fast. Rengar doing a bit of chasing, but we're going to see him back off here. Kennen able to use that extreme speed to his advantage to avoid those ganks from Rengar, even though he doesn't have any wards up. SirsiDynix definitely needs to get that aggressive ward that they had up earlier in there again, get sight on that jungle so that they can watch for those Cho'Gath ganks. Those are going to be particularly nasty seeing as he's been able to land his interrupts, his CCs. I don't know what that particular ability of his is called. One that knocks you up into the air. That one. He's done well at landing it. Gonna see another gank on top of Chasen. Chasen being very aggressive in this top lane with no ward to check for Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath coming in is going to land this CC on him. We might possibly see a kill on Chasen here, especially since his flash is down. They need one more hit, and there goes the kill on Chasen. Rengar moving top, possibly to take over that lane, although it looks like we'll see him move back into the jungle. Realize that that's a lost cause. Looks like we're going to see some more aggressive play here in bottom, and also in mid from Greatslar. SirsiDynix once again just barely behind, only behind 1 kill and about 100 gold. So definitely something that they can recover from. Especially seeing as they have more on their ADC. I mean, kills are nice to have on your jungler, but I think they would much rather have it on their ADC. I think we're going to see Aaron hit level 6 during this engagement here, which is going to be huge. Leona is going to go back, but I think they're going to get a kill on Caitlyn, assuming they continue to play as aggressively as they have, and with no support from Cho'Gath. Dive underneath the turret from Chatten and Chasen. Chatten going down as well, though, unfortunately, so it's another lost buff. These junglers are being extremely aggressive. Here we go. Aaron coming back visible. Cho'Gath possibly going to land a knock-up right here. Caitlyn needs to focus her targets. Oh, Aaron is definitely the better AD carry in this particular game. Caitlyn has done a terrible job of focusing on him, waiting for him to become visible again and switching as soon as he does, instead putting that damage on Nunu when they certainly need it on Aaron. And I think we're going to see Kalindi come in here and be a little more aggro. They might try to get this kill on Caitlyn while she's pushed up against SirsiDynix's turret. We're going to see Chatton waiting in this brush here bottom. Possibly going to go for a gank, although if he does go through the river, he's going to get spotted by the blue team. So he'll probably just wait in that brush or head back. Everybody just kind of farming away. This is kind of an odd lull in the action considering how aggressive both teams have been. So this matchup bottom is interesting to me, at least in the way that it's playing out. Considering how much range Caitlyn has, she should definitely have much more creep score than she currently does. Another gank here bottom from Chatton. We're going to see Leona go down, and we will likely see a death on Caitlyn as well. Rengar stealthing, moving in for the kill. Cho'Gath coming bottom as well, and Kennen headed. Greatsword seems to be trying to decide whether or not he wants to come. Chatton taking enormous damage from that red buff is going to go down to that Cho'Gath. So that ended up being a two for one in favor of SirsiDynix, and they're once again tied in kills, although they do have a pretty solid gold advantage at this point. Almost 1,000 gold. This match up top is also an interesting one. I'll be honest, I expected Irelia to be going mid and Kennen to be going top. Although both matchups could have worked, Irelia is probably going to, has indeed been having a relatively difficult time keeping up with Jason, although she has been able to zone him relatively well for while he's been in lane, especially thanks to those ganks from Cho'Gath. The deaths on Jason do not help his position whatsoever, and he is actually behind on CS at this point. Rengar has also lost his advantage over Cho'Gath. Seems like it seems like Cho'Gath has spent more time ganking, so I'm curious as to why Rengar has a lower CS. I'm going to see a gank come onto Kennen as soon as he pushes onto the turret just a bit more. Rengar waiting in the brush, although it looks like he's going to call that one off. He's waited there for long enough. Cho'Gath sneaking into bottom lane, although they are going to be able to see him. Looks like he's just going to feast and leave. Dine and dash, what a jerk. Greatsword burning a flash to escape from a cannon ult, which he'd probably taken most of the damage from anyways. Kalindi and Aaron doing major damage bot, but not actually able to secure a kill due to the presence of Cho'Gath in the lane now. Chatton getting very close to ganking this Kennen, although Kennen is going to try to E out of there. Transforms into that little ball of lightning and goes a million miles an hour. He also burned his flash to get out of that, and he's going to remain safe and be able to stay the lane mid. Great Slur possibly going to go down from this ult, although it looks like Chetan is going to get the... Oh! The Ignite doing just enough damage to take out Great Slur on its second to last tick. Gentleman Cho'Gath and his interesting sayings. Up you go. This is one of my favorite skins. Don't know if you could tell. To be honest, we're not seeing the kind of huge advantage that I would expect to see from Aaron, considering he has more than double the CS and has been absolutely decimating this Caitlyn the whole game. I would expect him to be playing much, much more aggressively. That pink ward's going to be able to spot him while he's invisible, and Kalindi taking the long way around for whatever reason. And Leona comes back into lane. But to be honest, I think that SirsiDynix bot at this point could kill that combo whenever they wanted to. They just have such a massive advantage bottom. And, you know, as much benefit as it provides right now, it's going to be even greater later in the game. Jason, for some reason, just standing there and letting Aurelia smack on her. Another close to kill on... Oh man, 3 members of blue team almost dead. They only managed to secure the kill on Leona, but forcing both Caitlyn and Aurelia out of their lanes. Jason also managing to secure a turret top. That is the first turret kill of the game. Great Slur just taking huge damage from this Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath just does not care about the damage that the tower can put out. He is feasted at this point, has a ton of health. It looks like he's not building particularly tanky at this point. Although there is this new item that I have yet to discover exactly what it is. Plenty of new items in the Season 3 reset. I need to go through and learn all of them. SirsiDynix still having a massive gold advantage. Almost 3,000 over. Oh, Aaron getting locked down. Wow. Blue team managing to secure a kill on him. I'm not sure where Kalindi was, but that was definitely not good for Aaron, although he still has almost double the CS that Caitlyn does. Just absolutely destroying her in lane. I'm really surprised he went down. Great Sword going down yet again to that cannon. Aurelia coming down just to secure the kill, although I would imagine we're going to see them go for the turret. Jason also moving down to protect mid. Kalindi being very aggressive. Chatting trying really hard. Wow. Wow. That Feast is doing a ridiculous amount of damage at this point. Kalindi doing whatever he can to try and save this turret, but it is going to go down, although they might be able to secure a kill on Cho'Gath. Oh, Aaron just... Oh, there it goes. Very nice. Aaron managing a triple kill, killing all 3 that were bottom. Aurelia, I believe, came in later. Aurelia and Kennen trying to secure a kill on Aaron, it looks like. Kennen and Aurelia secure a kill on Aaron. I think that's what I said. They do say where they are at this point, so Blue may back off, although they're going to jump instead. Jumping right onto more Great Slur, and probably going to get a kill here. Indeed. gonna stay and try to kill Chatton. Although it looks like there was some sort of miscommunication here, or perhaps a lack of communication. Chatton jumping back on top, ending up losing his life to this Irelia. Irelia is getting extremely well fed at this point, being 5-1-2, 114 CS. Her total gold count at 6,500. Irelia is nearly as fed as Aaron at this point. She is going to be extremely nasty for them to deal with here. Cho'Gath also being considerably fed. His feast doing enormous amounts of damage at this point. As we saw, he did about half health on Chatton, feasting him, and he is really just able to ignore the turret for a good 5 or 6 seconds, securing whatever type of kills he wants to under there. Aaron still absolutely destroying Caitlyn. Again, I'm not sure why he doesn't have more kills on her at this point and why they continue to die bottom lane. Although a lack of wards could certainly explain that. The ganks have been terrible bottom lane. Kennen moving in, trying to get that stun on him. They will. Although Kalindi and Aaron coming top, likely going to be able to kill Irelia. Aaron doing plenty of damage at this point, although a trade, which I'm not sure is worth it for SirsiDynix. Although that did end up being 2 for 2. And it looks as though they're going to try to push this top lane, possibly to the next turret. Nope. Mid lane being pushed by blue. We are likely going to see a turret kill here by Cho'Gath. Probably just going to ignore Chatton for the first few hits. Or just try to kill him directly underneath the turret. Wow, Cho'Gath incredibly tanky. Chatton following him out of the turret range. He's going to get feasted right here and just instantly die. Wow. Cho'Gath doing ridiculous amounts of damage, both with his auto attack and his abilities. And completely just able to ignore that turret for extended periods of time. Leona moving in, trying to help Cho'Gath, although Cho'Gath taking enormous amounts of damage from the 3 members of SirsiDynix that responded to this mid lane threat. Just saving the turret, although I'm not entirely sure that it's going to stay that way for much longer. If they keep devoting resources to it, then they're going to minimize the amount of CS that they can spread around. Great Slur doing stupid things and jumping into that brush, doing a total face check, trying to pursue someone and being surprised with 3 champions sitting there waiting for him. It looks as though we're going to see blue possibly try to steal the SirsiDynix blue buff, or sneak around behind and grab some kills on top of the turret, or just push down the turret. Not all of SirsiDynix being mid at this point. They need to head there so that they can keep that turret up. I'm pretty sure blue could just walk right past him and take the turret at this point if they wanted to. Perhaps with one lost Cho'Gath split pushing top, we might see him get all the way to the turret. SirsiDynix has the entire team mid, preparing to defend against this really aggressive blue team, although it's not to say that blue team is doing something wrong. They are certainly in a position where they can be aggro. They may not have the gold advantage, but they have proven that despite that, they can win their team fights and they can win against these higher farmed SirsiDynix team members in solo dueling as well. We're going to see SirsiDynix's turret go down here, and they're going to switch focus right on to Jason. Also focusing on Kalindi, although switching once he flashes back. Irelia goes down to a turret hit. Chatton taking huge damage from Cho'Gath just as last time. That ends up being in SirsiDynix's favor, two kills to 3 kills. 3 kills to 2 kills.